In this tutorial, we're going to walk through some techniques you can use to clean up any distractions within your image. In this image, I have this adorable dog, a person in the background, and some tracks in the snow. And I actually want to get rid of this person in the background. I just want to see the dog, and we're going to clean up those tracks in the snow as well. Before we make any changes to our image, I'm first going to duplicate our background layer so we can easily see and revert any changes we make. So you can do this by clicking and dragging your layer down to this icon, or by using the shortcut Ctrl+J. The first distraction I want to remove is this person in the background. I want the dog to be the sole feature of this image, and we're going to use a tool called Content Aware Fill. So the first thing I need to do is select the person I want to remove, and I'm going to do this by using the lasso tool, which allows me to draw a selection with my mouse by clicking and holding while I draw. If at any point you make a mistake, use Ctrl+D to deselect and begin again. Next, we're going to go to our Edit menu and choose Content Aware Fill. This will then bring up another menu for us. A brief overview of what Photoshop does with Content Aware. Essentially, it looks at the surrounding pixels and approximates a copy to fill that selection with. So here is what that looks like. I'm just going to select our pan tool here and zoom out so we can better see what's happening. On the left here, we can see this green. So the green represents the sample points Photoshop is using to fill our selection with. And you can see the preview of what this looks like on the right in our preview panel. So we can see that the person is gone, and Photoshop has done a reasonable job of filling that selection with an approximation of the surrounding pixels. It's not perfect, however. On the right side panel, we have a couple of options. Currently we're on auto. This is where Photoshop has automatically chosen the green sample points for us. We also have rectangular, which means our sample points come from this green rectangle, or custom, and this is where we can manually choose the sample points that Photoshop will use. Note that on each of these options you can add or subtract from the green sample point using the brush tool. So let's return to auto and I'll show you what that looks like. Using the brush tool, I can subtract or add to the green sampling point, so automatically my cursor has a subtraction sign, so if I begin painting with this brush, I'm actually subtracting from that green selection point, and that change will be reflected in our preview panel. If I hold Alt or Option on my keyboard, my cursor changes to have an addition sign, which means I'll be adding to the sample points. So I'm just experimenting here to see if I can get a better outcome. That doesn't look horrible, but let's try custom instead. So with the custom option, you begin with no green sampling points. You need to paint these in yourself. So I know that I'd like to fill my selection with this horizon of sky, rock, and snow. So I'm going to begin painting those in, and let's have a look. Ooh dear. Alright, let's continue to add to our selection points, remembering you can use your bracket keys to change the size of your brush. I think we're onto a winner. It's not perfect, but definitely something we can work with. Let's see if I can get rid of that bit of sky in the middle by painting more snow in. Oop, I've gone overboard. Let's just Ctrl+Z back to where we began. Alright, let's choose where we can output to. I'm going to choose the current layer and press OK. Let's hit Ctrl+D to deselect, and let's see what we're working with. So we ended up with a patch of sky here. That's fine, it's an easy fix. And how is the sky looking? Not bad. Alright, let's use one of our healing tools to see if we can get rid of that blue patch. So over to our tools, and we're going to right click. Healing tools are very handy. What they do is they take a sample of the color and texture of surrounding pixels, add a blend, and apply to where you paint. It's very quick and easy. So let's select our Spot Healing Brush tool, adjust the brush size, and click. Let's see how that looks. Maybe another click here. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now let's see if we can use this tool to get rid of the tracks in the snow. Great success. You can also click and drag with this tool. However, I don't like that it's smoothing out that snow. We're losing some of that texture. So let's use another tool for this. Head on over to our clone stamp. Now the clone stamp is different from the other tools we've used so far. Photoshop isn't really going to help you here by adding any blending. It's very literally copying the pixels you choose. I'll show you what that looks like. So let's zoom in here. For the clone stamp, we need to choose a sample point. So we're telling Photoshop to copy these pixels from the spot to the spot that we click. We do that by holding Alt or Option on your keyboard and clicking. And you'll notice that when you begin painting, there is a small cross. That cross is telling you where the pixels you're copying are coming from. So keep an eye on that cross to ensure you're not copying things you don't want to. Regularly changing your selection point will prevent any obvious patterns emerging, giving away the fact that you've made changes. The next issue is this shadow in the snow. Since the person is no longer there casting that shadow, it's a bit of a giveaway. So I'm going to use my clone stamp again here. Alright, let's have a look at the changes we've made by turning the visibility of this layer on and off. And there we have it, how to clean up your image using Content Aware, the Healing Spot brush tool, and the clone stamp.